Welcome back to the Uncommon Success Podcast. I am super excited for today. We have a special guest. His name
Hold on. You looked at the camera.
I know. I looked at the camera. That doesn't exist.
There.
I totally did that.
Okay.
So if you're going to look right there. I think you should just include that because that's great.
It's hilarious.
It's my fault. We move things around.
This is the cameraman, and he wants it to be perfect, and we know we only
You're
have...
looking at
You guys are all looking for other
behind
cameras.
you.
So this one right here, Jeff, that would be you and Rachel.
Quiet.
That guy over there,
Messing us up.
that's going to be me.
We're really smart here. We're very experienced at doing this.
Oh, boy.
That was the greatest opener I've ever seen on a
Okay.
podcast.
All right.
Yeah, so who are you, Gabe? And why are you giving us advice?
Okay, before we start, why are you sitting a mile higher than I am?
Because I'm wearing heels.
And me.
Huh?
And me.
And you.
I'm
Yeah.
wearing high heels.
Is
Here's
that
a pillow.
pillows?
Pillow.
Pillow?
Does that work for you?
I don't know. Am I still in the
I
shot?
don't know if I'm any higher or not. I should be like here, though.
I feel higher.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'll
You look
just-
much
Feel pretty
higher.
good.
Yeah.
I'll just
All right, and look, so Gabe flew all the way from
Nashville.
Nashville, Tennessee,
Yeah.
to come and be with us, and he was involved with the recording of the first 5 episodes of Flipping Farms. Go ahead.
Is recording the proper term?
Filming
Filming is what I would
recording.
say. Recording is what we do.
We did record them.
You know what I mean?
With a
Forget what
camera.
they're saying. Okay, they're trying to, show off.
we did record
They're
them.
not quite
With
as
a
humble as I am.
So yeah, Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, came here to do some reshoots and some footage stuff for season 1 because we are in the middle of the edit. Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting, actually. I'm having a lot of fun with the edit so far.
So we have pretty much confirmed that you're a producer for TV shows. And what else do you do?
So I do a kind of a gambit in the film world as well as the music world. I do, I write songs. I wrote for television, which is kind of how I got into television, was writing for television. And then I went from there into film, which is what I actually went to school for. I went to school for audio engineering, but I also went to school for radio, TV, video, and film on the GI Bill. Was how I burned up my 4 years of college thanks to, the government. And so I went to film school. I kind of fell in love with film at that point, but never did anything with it. And then fast forward 15 years-ish, I just landed in it and started doing it. So in Nashville, I do music videos. I do TV shows. I shoot for a friend of mine who makes feature films.
He's a little humble. You had one music video that went like #1, right?
I did, yeah. Yeah, last
Cool.
November.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was actually right after we got done here.
Yeah, he's humble like I am. You see, it's hard to brag about yourself. So.
No, last November, I had a song with Tony Jackson, and Randy Travis, the country singer, made an appearance on it. And it was called Do You Remember Country Music? And it was kind of one of those moments where all the pieces come together and you go, I think this is actually going to work. Because it was a former Marine, and he's singing traditional country music, and he's at Johnny Cash's house, which is where I filmed it, and Randy Travis is in the video. So it's like, how does that not work?
Yeah.
And so when they called me and they were like, hey, we got on CMT, I'm like, oh, sweet. And then the next week it was, hey, we just went #1.
Wow.
And I thought
cool.
Yeah.
that was cool. I was
Yeah,
excited about
absolutely.
that. But then week 2, week 3, and then we dropped to #2 on week 4.
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah, so we held the spot for a little bit. And it wasn't pop country. It's not, what just came out recently, which was a song by Beyonce that landed on country music charts, which is super
What?
strange.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
it wasn't that. It's traditional country music. It's the music that you would have listened to in the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s. And it's Tony Jackson. He's phenomenal.
Right. Cool. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
So how was your ride from the airport to here?
It was good. My Uber driver was, he was a little off, I think.
Okay, so when you were filming us, like for the
Just
2 weeks
in
that
case
you were
somebody got that,
here-
Jeff picked me up at the airport.
Yeah. You just do not get me sick. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
sorry.
He just
Go ahead.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So when you were here filming us, like a few months ago for the whole first season,
Yeah.
you rode with me a lot. Like you and the other film guy were in my car and I drove. So you got to experience Dad's driving today.
Sure.
How was his driving?
I don't know if he doesn't like stop signs or doesn't
I
see
think
them.
there's something else we need to talk about
I
here
wasn't
today.
sure.
So I have been sick, so I don't want her to get sick, and so it's been almost 5 weeks. Think about that. It's been 1/10 of a year that I've had this thing, and like I'm not a doctor person. I don't like going. And I went to breakfast with somebody last Wednesday. I walk in the restaurant and he says, "Are you all right?" I said, I don't feel real good. Why? He said, "Well, you're all white and your eyes are all glossy." And I said, "Well, when I came downstairs this morning, my wife said the same thing. She said, "Jeff, you don't look too good." So I thought it was time to call. So I called the doctor. They couldn't get me in until May. And I told him, my friend, this, and he said, "Nah, I'll take care of it." So he made some phone calls, got me in. So yesterday I went to the doctor. Yes. And so it's just the thing where, like, I'm sorry. I don't want to cough in the mic. Cough a lot. It's like a dry cough. And tired. You know, and then I was tired the next day and the next day. So that makes me retired. So that's what she meant when she doesn't want to get what I got. So she needs to.
I need to go like this.
She needs to do the talking today. Go ahead.
So, okay. For those of you who follow us on social media, we posted a video a few weeks ago. Dad was sick in bed. I was running all the businesses. And I had to do some voiceovers for Gabe, who's editing our podcast, or not podcast, our show. And Gabe was like, "I want your dad to close this episode. Like, I want your dad to say a voiceover for me." And I just could not get my dad to do it. Like, he was like that, okay?
Yeah.
But, like, for
That's
real,
how he was
like
on the
that.
drive over here most of the way.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I was just using my phone, just like, Lord, please,
Oh,
let's just. I made
Why
it on
didn't
this.
you drive?
I made it on this Allegiant flight. I just want to get to the farm.
So when you were telling me you needed him to do this, and I was like, "Look, Dad is sick. We pushed it off a couple days."
Yeah.
You're like, "Has he sat under a red light, like
Yeah.
a light?" And I'm like, "Please explain." So you're like, "Oh, like the chicken lights, like the red
Yeah,
lights,
like a chicken light. Yeah,
So
infrared.
This was a foreign concept to me. So
And you live on a farm.
it is very true. We're wannabe farmers. We're not real farmers.
It's the light that you use in stalls to give animals, heat.
Warmth. Yes.
Warmth. Yeah, it's a red light.
Yeah.
But it's also extremely healing to the body because it's putting out frequency, and those light waves, which is like the sun, is penetrating into your body, and it's causing natural healing.
So I sent our employee to go get these lights that day. I talked to you. I was like, all right, I'm sitting Dad on our chicken lamp. We made this whole reel about it. Dad was cracking up, thought it was hilarious that I had these chicken lights for him. Did he use them?
Well, obviously not.
No.
So
I think
I don't know how to set them up, man. How do you set up a light bulb to hang
just-
above you in your bedroom? I don't know how to do that.
you just turn it on.
You're really a little bit
Did,
much
so
right
that
now.
did it not have a clamp?
No, these are just the bulbs.
We
These are
have
just
those
yeah.
clamps.
Yeah, it's just a clamp. So
Yeah.
you just clamp it on a chair.
He's making excuses.
You just clamp it on a chair. Well, this is why you're still sick.
Yeah.
This is why you're under the weather.
I would feel. I would feel better if I was under the chicken lights.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you ate healthy.
I eat healthy.
No, you do not
Oh,
eat
give me a
healthy.
break.
Food is healing.
Give me a break. I have eaten.
Give me a break of the kickback
Okay.
bar. Yeah, that's
I have
what you
eaten
would
so much roughage. Okay.
eat. Roughage?
Yeah, like wheat and grains and hay. I've eaten so much roughage. I started to poop wicker furniture. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
just
this
a little.
podcast has taken a turn. All right.
So-
Tables
All
and
right.
everything.
I'm
So,
bringing this back like that.
Let's just go into that real quick. All of those things that you just mentioned are actually somewhat inflammatory to the gut because of the way that they're processed.
Where's that humility I thought you had there, huh? Come on now.
Oh my
Help me
goodness.
out.
So if there's
Help me
anything I learned more than I learn about film, which is my main passion, it is food and what we put in our bodies. And that's because of a necessity that we've had to do that. But there are certain foods specifically that are not processed well for your body, and you just named a bunch of them.
Okay, what's the theme of this podcast today then?
I would like.
This
Obviously,
is
it's not roughage.
this is non.
No.
It's like a bunch of nonsense happening. Is what's happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to
The nonsense podcast. Is that what we're doing today?
Nonsense.
There you go.
There you go. New podcast coming at you. So, Gabe, you are a producer now, but you are an entrepreneur and have experience in other businesses. So, can you talk about your previous experience in businesses?
Yeah, much like you guys, I find myself all over the place in the business world. So I've done. I owned a gun store for a while. I had a trucking company. I've had a Harley repair shop. I've had. You're laughing because it sounds like you, like all your different businesses, zoos and ice cream
together. Either a gun shop and a Harley, and sort of like
Well,
ours.
kinda.
so I did. I had this plan at one point. Okay. I was going to have all in one building, like all under the same roof, essentially, but sectioned off. Was going to be a gun store, a Harley repair shop, and a tattoo parlor.
Oh.
Yeah.
You like tattoos?
I've got a couple. I mean, I got a couple.
That was like the first thing
Yeah.
I noticed about you. Anyway.
Yeah. So that was my plan back then.
Well,
but
why don't you throw in like an ice cream parlor and a miniature golf?
I mean, I don't know if that's the right crowd for that.
Okay.
But
Okay. While you're getting tattooed.
but guns, tattoos, and bikes. I mean,
goes
that's
together.
a certain.
There you go.
There's a certain demographic there,
Yeah, it reminds
right?
me of myself.
Oh,
But
yeah.
not all bike
Actually-
people. What?
You're describing me, though. I have a tattoo.
Okay.
We have a motorcycle.
Okay.
And, I mean, I don't own a gun.
Yeah.
We have a BB gun in our house. The gun
That-
thing is more you. But
That'll
Which I
help.
bought the BB gun.
Yeah, we should really fix that on this trip. Like, we should
Yeah,
go
go to a
down
gun
and
range.
get, a shotgun or something
Oh, yeah.
so that we have it here.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother a bunny trail. Might as well go down it. I was alone with the kids in the house the other night.
That's a great story.
No, there's another one.
Oh, another one. No. Can we talk about the
Yeah,
other one, or did
sure.
you already talk about that one?
No, we did not talk. I don't think
What
we talked
other
about that one.
So
Yes.
the one that I learned about the other
Just
week.
like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know this, right?
So you know the story.
Okay.
We got woken up in the middle of the night, my husband and I, and thought somebody was downstairs. We live on the upper level. Downstairs is our workshop. And so we're like, somebody is in the workshop at like 3 a.m. So the only way to get to our upper level is just one staircase going up. That's the only way in and the only way out. So my husband and I turn the lights on. Before we turn the lights on, we're looking outside. We have floodlights that are motion censored, so we're trying to see if there's any lights going on. And Sam turns on the car and is like turning on the car light, trying to see, okay, is anybody out in the yard? No. Then we get quiet, and I hear talking. I think somebody is, I am 100% convinced there is somebody downstairs now. Freak out. I'm like, how do we protect ourselves? So I run to my room, grab my cell phone to call him because he lives right across the street. He has guns. And so I'm like, well, you'll get to me quicker than the police will get to me. So I grab my phone, and then behind our bed, we have a wrench. It is like 2 feet, and it is a big, heavy
You felt safe with
wrench.
that, didn't you? Oh,
I
Yeah.
felt better with that in my hand than nothing in
But
my
why
hand.
is there a wrench behind the bed? That's the question I've had. I didn't ask it
That's
before,
good.
but
Yeah,
I'm
there you
like,
go.
So that's a story.
There you go.
what's a giant wrench doing behind the bed?
So the wrench is actually a trophy that we won at an Ace Hardware show a few years ago for
Okay.
doing such a great job at the hardware show. They were impressed with our all the criteria. They had this competition. We won. So I have this wrench, and he wanted to leave it behind at the show. He's like, "Why are we bringing this home?" I'm like, "Because we won it. We worked so hard."
He's a humble guy.
Oh,
He doesn't need trophies.
my bad.
Exactly.
He's a
My
humble
bad.
guy.
Exactly.
My bad. So anyway, I kept the wrench, and I was like, hey, this is like good to keep behind the bed. So anyway, all of that to find out. The sound we heard was our son kicking a glass water bottle on the floor, and the talking was our other son asking Alexa what time it was when he heard the bottle of water falling on the floor. So I really did hear voices.
So you're clearing your house with a giant wrench.
Well, not really, because clearing the house would mean actually going down the stairs, unlocking the door at the
Sure,
bottom of
sure.
the stairs, and clearing the downstairs.
Sure.
Did not do that. No.
And unlocking the outside door. They would have to go in through 2 locked doors.
This is true. However, so bringing this full circle, you know where I'm going with this. When you and the rest of the film crew were here filming our reality show, you broke into the house you were staying in, which was locked and had a newer lock
I have a
on
certain
it.
set of skills
You do have a
that
certain
I've
set of
acquired
skills.
over the years.
But there's other people with those skills too, so
Sure.
that really almost freaked me out
Should
because
we share this information? Well, what
people
we can
know
do-
how. What I'm saying is, people know how to open locked doors.
We need to do the deadbolt.
yeah.
That will prevent that.
I
from
think
happening.
I think it's maybe just a Pennsylvania thing, because when I was here a few weeks ago for the big outdoor show, right, the Great American Outdoor Show, I couldn't get into my hotel room because I left the key inside the room because I'm getting up every morning just running out of there. So I just grabbed my ID card and tapped it real quick, hit the and it popped right open. What I'm starting to see in Pennsylvania since I've been here is that somebody is installing all of the doors incorrectly. All the door locks are backwards. The only reason I can break into that is because there's that side that goes like that, and then there's the flat side. Well, if this side is facing me on the outside, I can just pop it open.
Right.
Well, so far most of the door locks are like that where I've
Well, we're a little backwards in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Unlike Tennessee's cutting edge.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're at the forefront. No backwoods stuff going on there at all. So
Tennessee is your dream location to live.
Well, I owned land in Tennessee at one point, and I love going down. I built a new house on it. I go down several times a year. I loved it, and I like to move there.
I know.
Yeah, I would.
yeah, it's I've been there for 10 years, and for me it's been the place that has felt like home the most.
Yeah.
Honestly, second to that would be the property here, the farmhouse. I love that house. Yeah. Like staying in that house is, I don't know, there's just something about it. It's very peaceful out here. It's very calming. Yeah. There's no Nashville.
Yeah.
It's for sale.
I know it's for sale.
Yeah.
I actually called a buddy today. I was like, "Hey man, you want to buy a farm in Pennsylvania?" He's like, "No."
So the horse farm, Northwind Stable, is the farm we're talking about, and right now we reopened it, the Airbnb. We closed it for a while because of the film crew coming and working and so on, and some of the renovations we did, and we reopened it. So it is now available for people to rent. See that? See how I worked that in there?
Yeah, and I would tell you, as a third party, it is a phenomenal place to stay. It's got a very, very unique charm to it. Rachel did amazing, with the renovations on it.
Yep.
And it really does feel like kind of going back in time and getting away, from everything. And sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't even work, and that really takes you back even further.
Like right now.
Then you're really back there,
That's really funny.
Cool. Yeah.
So I would like to kind of talk about filming our show at this point. So we've talked about your previous experience a little bit. You didn't mention that you were in the Army.
Oh, yeah. So I was in the Marine Corps.
Right.
Then I was in the Army, National Guard. And then I was in the Air Force, the Air Guard. And then I went back to the Army National Guard and deployed to Afghanistan. That was kind of all during all of those times. From 1997, which dates me, to 2001, I was in the Marine Corps active duty. I got out. And then 9/11 happened. I got out in June of 2001. 9/11 happens, right? And then I sit back and I just kind of watched the war happen. And by 2005, I felt as if I needed to go back. And in 2004, we lost a couple of guys in Fallujah, which is a big battle, that I knew. And I just kind of felt like I didn't give everything I had, in a way. They call it survivor's guilt. I don't know what you call it. But I felt like I had more to give. And so I went back and ended up on drug teams for a while, chasing bad guys, flying around in helicopters, doing fun stuff. And then ended up with a PSD team in the unit that I was in out of California. And went to Afghanistan, got to do some fun stuff over there, and then, kind of came home. And, and I was a bull rider, too. I forgot about that.
Oh,
I was just thinking about the other things that I used to do. I was a bull rider and a bronc rider for a while, too. I've done and I raced motorcycles for a while there.
Right.
I'm just remembering my
there's
life right now.
something that you also didn't say. Like, you
What's
say
that?
you write music, but, like, you actually get paid to go sing on stage.
Yeah, I did a stint as a performer, an artist in Nashville, and I actually was sitting on. So Dave Gibson from the Gibson Miller Band, which is a huge band in the '90s, they won Duo of the Year. I mean, they did some great music. Dave took me under his wing when I first came to Nashville, and we started kind of building this momentum and talking to record labels and talking to people. And what I found out was the unfortunate part of the music business is greed, right? And so Dave was the guy, he's still around, not was. Dave, you're still around. Dave is this guy who backed me 100%. And I went to the labels, and we had a deal in front of us. But the deal that I had was that I had to leave Dave Gibson behind. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that to the guy that believed in me and carried me to the table and was out there promoting me and talking to the different labels and pulling me into writing sessions with people I had no business writing with. I mean, I was a new nobody, and I'm in rooms with guys that have written 10 plus, 15 plus, number one songs in country music. I'm at Opry parties, hanging out, on the lake at these huge parties with all these people. Like, I'm meeting the Oak Ridge Boys and Brother Phelps and Jeannie Seeley and all these legends. And they're just like, hey, we like you, but we, he's kind of old hat. We don't really, we don't, if we're going to sign with you or we're going to do a deal with you, then you've got to kind of drop that part of your life. And I was just like, I couldn't do it.
Right.
And it caused a rift between me and Dave, but he didn't know why I didn't take the deal until just a couple of years ago. We were sitting at a round, is what they call it, when a bunch of writers are together and they play music. It's called a writer's round. And Dave and I were sitting there, and he goes, I know what happened. I know why you didn't take that deal. And I was like, oh, this is going to be awkward. And I said, oh yeah. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I know why you didn't take that deal. And he goes, it's the dumbest thing you've ever done with your career, but I respect you for it. And for me, it wasn't about stepping over somebody to get to the next spot. It was about integrity, and it always will be. And so I walked away from music as fast as I got in. I had 2 songs that went to television. I went and toured for a while. I got on a $1 million tour bus, had a good time, and then I was out, just like that.
But you weren't quite out, because when you came here and you filmed with us for 2 weeks, then you left here and did a concert. Right?
Well, yeah, I got a phone call from some people out in California, in Murrieta, California. There's a family out there. If you guys remember the Cobblegate collapse, the disaster where the 13 were killed just a few years ago. You don't watch the news or
I do not. He
listen to
is
the
like
radio.
a news buff. I am
Okay,
not.
so
talk to me.
Yeah, go ahead. You guys have a little chit-chat.
so Cobble was a disaster, an absolute disaster. It was unnecessary what happened there. There was 13 people that were killed. And I was privileged enough to attend one of the funerals and start spending time with one of the families, which led me to meeting another one of the families. And I became really good friends with Shanna Chappelle, who is the mother of Kareem Nakui. He was one of the Marines that was killed. And so I was actually asked to go out to California and film the funeral, which is super difficult as a Marine. Because when they're carrying a Marine out and he's under the flag, like, you want to be still. You want to be just completely still and honor him and not move, not even breathe. But what I was having to do was walk around with a camera. And so it was like this conflict for me. And I went to every Marine in uniform that I saw, and I said, hey, look, I'm a Marine. This is a job I was hired to do. I'm not being disrespectful. I apologize if it looks that way ahead of time. And they were like, hey, we get it. Do your job. But it still felt wrong, because I wanted to just stand there and observe and honor him. So anyway, I got really close to that family, and I still am to this day. And we were sitting around after the funeral. We'd been invited over to their house, and Donnie, which was Kareem's uncle, and Shanna's brother brought us all over to the house, and just I don't know if you've ever been to, like, there's this town in California called Norco. Norco is not a typical California town. It is nestled in Southern California, but it is a cowboy town. If there's ever a cowboy town, I mean, they don't have sidewalks in Norco. They have horse trails. People ride their horses up and down the streets and go to church in Norco.
Cool.
It's amazing. Phenomenal place.
Yeah.
So he invites us over. They cook all these wonderful steaks, and we're sitting around, and we just started talking about things, and I shared some music and things with them, and Donnie goes, "Hey, if we ever have a concert opportunity out here, we'd love for you to come out and play." And I was like, "Man, you call me and I'll be there." And so this year that call came through on Veterans Day. They asked me to come to Murrieta, California and play a show. And I did. And it was, for me, it was one of the great moments that I got to experience, because I was with this family who I deeply cared about.
That's neat. Yeah.
And I got to spend some more time with them. And one of the songs I had written called My Father's Son, which I wrote with Dave, one of the guys in the family is Donnie's, I want to get this right, Donnie's son-in-law had lost his dad right around that time. And he actually called me and asked me if he could use that song at his dad's funeral. Like, that's for me what it was about,
Yeah, that's cool.
right?
Yeah.
Sure, I would have loved to have made $1 million playing music, but that moment for me meant a lot.
Yeah.
And getting asked to come play for them and be a part of their family meant a lot.
Right.
So, yeah, that's... I do music very little now. I still write. I still do it for myself, but I just don't do it as a career. It's funny how things work out. You know, I mean, I came out here with the Sailors as a...
Yeah. So this is a great...
are we segue?
Segue. Thank you. You guys knew what I was going to say before I was going to say it.
Yeah.
So...
I wish that would have worked out in the Garden of Eden. You know
I
what I mean?
yeah.
Adam would have known ahead of time what she was going to say.
Wow. These guys have
That's-
jokes.
Go for it. What
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Segue.
Okay, so I would love to focus the second half of our conversation on our time together filming Flipping Farms.
Sure.
And, like, there's a story I don't know. Like, I don't think I ever heard the story about how you were hired on